Another video for May the 10th. And no, I don't plan on putting out that many all at once usually. It's just a couple of things observations that I needed to get out there. Um, yeah, May the 10th, 2018. I wanted to do a little more on a little more details on the update of my hiatus for about 3 months. Like I was saying, there was a decided victory on the positive side. And that victory came with a backlash. A bunch of us noticed it, a bunch of us experienced it. I had repetitive, extreme negative backlash directed at me and my family, people I care about, and even my animal, well, he's not my animal, he's a free spirit, but the cat, the one that showed up here last September. I actually went through several bouts with different viruses, and then the last thing I got was the flu. And that wasn't just any flu. I was close to exiting. I was extremely ill. And this wasn't just any flu. I went up to 104 degrees and it wouldn't go down. Also, right before I got sick with it, several days before, it was weird. I felt like what felt like a reality shift. It was bizarre. I even mentioned it to my son. I was like, I don't know what's going on with me, but it's like reality's altered somehow. And I'm not talking about Mandela effect stuff. This was a whole different ball game. But when I got sick, that feeling was back, that altered sense of reality. And I was so sick. You know, I mean, you got a pretty good idea how I feel about hospitals and doctors. It's not their fault, but I don't trust most of them. And it's not their fault. They're just doing what they were trained or indoctrinated to do. But you know, I had to be near exiting if I actually agreed to go to an ER. My son called 911. And I actually went. That gives you some idea of how sick I was. Because I'm like, well, if I stay here, I will die, for sure. And by the way, death is a joke. It's a lie. Once you pop out of the biosuit, you're still around. Trust. Anyway, so that sidelined me completely. I mean, the other stuff was sidelining me quite a bit and keeping me off sharing what I know. So, yeah. So the hiatus, that was the biggest reason. Getting sidelined. And getting some backlash for my participation on the positive side. Anyway, I've had so many experiences. I hope I get them all here because I didn't like rehearse or study up for a video. So I'm going to get what I can. If I forget something, I'll try to add it later, especially if it's something important. I did talk about the angel numbers I've been getting. That's been going on pretty steady. At least once a month, I'm having that happen. Some people get it more than that, but I'm only getting once a month. The dreams, or like I mentioned in the other video, or were they? There's 3 what I call ethereal experiences I've had where I was with my people. Now, the thing I want to put out there is I always question who those people are. Are they really my people? Or is it the Matrix projecting them? That's a good question. Speaking about particularly Gabriel and Adonai that have come to me. But in one dream, well, I call them dreams, but man, they're not just normal dreams. I have those too. Oh, there's the little songbird. He's so cute. I filmed him the other day. I'll put that video up for you guys. I've got I need to identify what birds they are, but yeah, they're in a bush. Sorry about being sidetracked. I get sidetracked by the animals out here. But in these dreams, visions, moments of clarity or memory possibly, I am in one of them. Remember I was talking about that decided victory for the positive side, and then I suffered the backlash? Well, during that time frame, I had a vision of myself, but not in this body. I was pure energy. Kind of looked sort of human formish, but not. It was pure energy. And I was holding a sword. Not just any sword. And the sense that I felt is I had just got done with a battle. And I had a sense of pride going through my head. That, yep, I knew we would win. That was one of the visions. The other one was now these were prior to this. That was the most recent. Another one was, and I'll go in order going back in history. The one prior to that, I was in this was an ethereal place. This wasn't on this planet. Not in this dimension. But this place, the best way to describe it is, think of those paintings, the old Gothic paintings where you see angels in a garden, gentle sloping hills. I described it as green grass, but it wasn't grass. It was more like, it was soft to your feet, and yeah, barefooted. It was more like a carpet of moss, very heavy moss, probably an inch deep, approximate. And in the middle was a domed, um, basically kind of gazebo, I guess, with 4 pillars. And I was sitting at a bench with others like me, familiar others like me. And we were all just hanging out. There was probably 20 or 30 in that particular place. And we were all just hanging out, talking about philosophical things and lofty stuff, mind benders, and just being what we are. I felt like I was at home. That was one of them. Then another one was a place, the one prior to that was a place very similar to the one I just described, with the green, thick, mossy. But I was standing next to Adonai at the time, which was unusual because usually it's Gabriel I'm hanging out with. But Adonai had his arm over my shoulder, and it pulled me in close. And we were both looking up. And we were looking at angels flying in a circle that were singing. And these angels, it was etheric bodies, like what I saw when I saw myself with that sword. Sparkling energy. Just amazing. And yeah, singing. Music's a big deal. A very big deal, trust me. It's frequency, it's about energy. Anyway, the angels were singing, but they were upset and crying at the same time. And it was about what's happening here. And Adonai said, do you see them? And I was like, yes. And we're both looking up at them. And he points at one of them. And keep in mind, the energy's all different colors, but some of them resonate one color brighter than the other colors. And the one he pointed at happened to be purple. It was emanating more purple than the other colors. And what's interesting is purple's my color. I am all about purple. And he pointed to this particular one. He said, see that one? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's you. Is the Matrix giving me these? Or am I having memories? Or what's going on there? Good question, right? Anyway, I wanted to share those with you. I've also had a couple of other interesting, very odd dreams, like, that didn't seem like dreams. One, I was in an office with a band. And this office seemed like probably like a lawyer's office, like some sort of contract was being done. But I had a feeling it was with a band. But I could have been wrong about that. I'm not sure. Because I woke up thinking I was hanging out with the band. Because it it was like the end of the day, and we had all been at it all day long, hashing out agreements or something. And uh, a few of the people were still hanging around, and the wives there. I was talking to them, and I was like, "So let's go hang out. Let's go party." And them being mid 50s to mid 60s, they're like, "We're worn out, man. We're going home." I'm like, "Damn, I wanted to go hang out." So, yeah, that was an interesting one. What that was about, is that a premonition about something coming up in the future? Possibly. Because I get those too. And they're real vivid like that too. And they don't always necessarily, the dreams are weird. When I get downloads, those are dead on accurate. But the dreams, those are left to a little interpretation, and sometimes can be sort of what happens in the future, but may not be like, it may not have been a band, it may have been something else that I'm getting ready to work out some agreements with. I don't know, or some sort of contracts. But it was a good dream. I mean, it was a good, whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't something bad. I think it's just something coming up in the future that's good. Um, what else is going on? My son, he's like hogging up a great deal of my time when I'm not super sick. um, he's getting ready to graduate, and he's got a girlfriend that he really, really likes. They're going to the same college. And the two of them, and my son, of course, just eats up a lot of time right now. So between him and getting super sick, that's where 3 months went, boom, out the door. Not that I didn't do some heavy researching during that time, because I still continue to do that. I might have been sidelined from that even for a couple of days from that flu, but as soon as I felt better, I was right back on it. Digging for knowledge. That's unending. But yeah, he's getting ready to graduate just a few days from now. And he'll be going off to college to be indoctrinated with the rest of the people. I told him, because at that age, Mom knows nothing. Mom's crazy, Mom's eccentric, Mom's this, Mom's that, whatever. Down the road a piece, he'll realize what I'm saying is, I mean, he's seen with his own eyes the orb ships come up and visit. He's seen it with his own eyes. He's had weird experiences himself, like the shadow person that lives in his closet. Had ever since he was a little kid. And talking to his grandma after she passed, and he knows it's real. He knows it. But I don't know nothing, and it's not cool as a teenager to know these things. And he's in denial. Heavy, heavy cognitive dissonance. Anyway, I told him, I said, you're going off to college and stuff, but remember, what you learn at school necessarily isn't the truth. Keep your mind open. That's what I keep telling him. Keep your mind open. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. You know, something very interesting about him is I went into labor with him 6 weeks early, 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. And I went into labor with him on 9/11. And what's funny is months and months before that occurred, me and a friend of mine both laughed and joked about how I was going to go into labor during my baby shower, which happened to be that day. How did we know that? Think about it. How did we know that? I'll try to drop little hints of knowledge, get you guys thinking and digging. Because if I just come straight out and tell you guys everything that I've learned, you won't believe it anyway. Not unless you start doing the digging and the researching on your own and really start looking. But I'll try to guide you, giving you tidbits, little hints. Anyway, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Not that I can think of right offhand. If I think of it, I'll make another video in the next day or two. Anyway, more food for thought, more info about why I was gone for 3 months. Backlash. Got snapped for it. But that's okay, because we won. That's what matters. Anyway, I hope you guys have a really great week. Rest of your, well, it's really the weekend coming up here, so hope you have a really great weekend, and I will come back with more very soon. Take care. Bye.